What's going on, everyone? So Los Angeles Lakers still have a ton of work to do, right? It was great that they went and got Jake LaRavia. I think he's going to be a solid pickup, solid acquisition. He's young, 23 years old, so plenty of upside, plenty of growth, plenty of potential. Lakers are trying to get younger out on the perimeter, out on the wing. I saw them with undrafted free agents to who their draft pick was. Lakers are even in conversations about trying to get moves done. Right? There's a couple other free agents that could potentially be available. Obviously, they need the center position, but all signs kind of point towards DeAndre Ayton being the Lakers. There were talks about Milwaukee being in the mix, but then they went and signed Miles Turner. Indiana, I get why. Look, Ayton signed a deal with Indiana, and then the Suns matched and all that stuff. I get all that. Indiana is cooked next year, right? Like, they are cooked. I don't think Ayton's going to go to a team like that, where especially given like where he's at, he needs to kind of revamp his career. He needs to kind of rechange his image. I think a great place to do that would be the Lakers, right? You get to play alongside Luka and LeBron James, who are going to make you look great on a nightly basis. Be a big integral part. If you have success towards winning and all those things, all of a sudden you look up and now teams are offering you insane money. Or if you win an NBA championship, right, you're starting to get offered insane money against people like he can work, right? Or maybe even the Lakers offer him that insane money. But beyond Ayton, even if the Lakers do, like right this second, they could land DeAndre Ayton. They still have other moves that need to be made, whether it's via trade, whether it's via free agency signing, right? There's DeAnthony Melton out there. I don't even hate the idea of like taking a flyer on some of these young guys like an Imani Bates or a Jabari Walker, like these young, athletic, versatile kind of wings that got size, length, athleticism. Lakers really need that, particularly out on the perimeter. So if you can land one or two of those guys on top of the guys that you're bringing in, I think that would be a great move. But according to Dan Wilkie, the Lakers are still evaluating other options in free agency and via trade, in addition to Ayton. Again, this is according to The Athletic's Dan Wilkie. So, look, Lakers are still doing their due diligence, still very active on the trade market, which is good, right? I talked about this with Clint Capella, because at the time, we didn't know DeAndre Ayton was going to be an option. Once you sign him, Ayton, that is, it changes everything, right? Now you're not, right now, the thought process, and there are even reports about this too, that people are looking at the Lakers as desperate because they don't have a center, right? Well, now, if you go and you get that Ayton, right, there talks about Al Horford potentially being the backup. I'm fine with that. I'd be totally okay with Al Horford being your backup. I talked about Brook Lopez being your backup. Like, that's fine. But even if he's not, right, once you get Ayton, all of a sudden, all these other teams start to drop their prices because now you're not desperate anymore. Right now, they're looking at it as like you have zero centers. And if Ayton doesn't go to you, then what? Problem is, if Ayton doesn't go to the Lakers, then the Lakers are in big trouble because then it's like, hey, guess what? The only option you have left is to trade. And that could go disastrously. But if the Lakers get DeAndre Ayton, now it drops the price of those centers immediately, and then it's just like which one blinks first. Also, it would make navigating the remainder of the roster so much easier. Right? You go get DeAndre Ayton, now you don't have to trade for a starting center. Now you don't have to go pony up the assets and the salaries and all that stuff to go get a Nick Claxton and spend $27 million or whatever, right? Like now you don't have to go and give up a bunch of firsts to go get a Daniel Gafford or something like that, right? Like it now puts you a bit more in the driver's seat, right? And now you can use your assets to go get other players of need. Now you can use your assets to go get like, hey, that Andrew Wiggins, or can you get maybe a Herb Jones or something? Because now you have the young Dalton Connect plus the first round pick. Maybe you can go get something like that, and now you solidify your perimeter help, right? Now you got your long-term answer at the wing. I mean, Herb Jones, DeAndre Ayton, and Luka Doncic are like the same age. Imagine if those three are kind of like your core and foundation with Austin Reeves. See what they do with Austin Reeves, but imagine if that's kind of your core and foundation, and then LeBron James, like now you're cooking. Right? Now you have defense, you have rebounding, you have everything that you need. The offense is cooking. Everything starts to kind of flow itself together, right? But right now, it's like, well, what have the Lakers done? They got Jake LaRavia. It's like, that's great pickup. I like Jake LaRavia. I think we all kind of saw that coming, but it's like, okay, well, you still need, one, to finish your roster, round out your roster. Two, you need perimeter help still. Like, he's not solving all your answers to perimeter help. And you lost Dorian Finney-Smith. Oh, yeah, and by the way, you still have no center, no backup center. It's like nothing's changed. But look, like I keep preaching, patience. Patience is very important. Patience is very key. I know it's incredibly frustrating because we want the Lakers to do everything immediately. DeAndre Ayton doesn't even become available till tomorrow, right? So we'll see what ends up happening with DeAndre Ayton. If we get that announcement maybe later where it's like, he intends to sign. You've seen a couple of those. I've seen people ask why haven't we gotten at least that he intends to sign with the Lakers? And again, it could be a million reasons, right? Like, it could be just the Lakers want to keep that hush hush, right? They're in negotiations. They're kind of trying to see where teams are. They might have a move in the works or something like that. They might be trying to get other free agents and stuff like that to come that, like Ayton could throw a wrench. Who knows? There's a million things. You don't know what's going on the other side of those phone calls. You don't know what the other teams are saying in these various trades, right? A team might be willing to make that trade, but if they know they're getting Ayton, it's like, do we really want? So now they got Ayton, LeBron, Luka, Austin Reeves, and then now we're going to trade them this piece to really put them over the top. Well, now we want more, right? Because now we could be potentially the missing piece for you to, like, you want to keep as much quiet as possible. You never know what another team is thinking. Lakers go and make the announcement they sign Ayton, and then it's like, oh, okay, well, guess what? Now you need wing depth, and you could argue like the price of the wings could go up, but I don't really. So I think because Lakers are going to be targeting veteran, like you're not going to go get Dyson Daniels, right? Like you're looking at guys that are kind of in the older age, like guys that kind of fit the timeline you're looking on, think of like an Andrew Wiggins type thing. So I like that the Lakers are still being active. I like that the Lakers are still, being aggressive and trying to find the proper moves. But you also got to stay patient, right? And like I said, it's really hard. It's really frustrating. It's difficult. I get it, right? We all wanted the Lakers at, it was 3 p.m. By 3:01, everything's done. They've made all their trades. They made all their free agency signings. They've done everything, and now we can just talk about how the roster is going to be good for the next 3 months, right? But it's not how it works usually. They got that first move of like, hey, here's what we're thinking, which I think tells you a lot about where the team is at, right? They want youth, they want shooting, they want athleticism out on the perimeter. They want all those things. They want to get younger, and then on top of that, it's like, okay, well, Ayton becomes available, and that throws a wrench in everything. Lakers might have already signed Clint Capella. They might have already signed Brook Lopez. And now some of you might be thinking like, oh, well, no, because, Clint Capella signed with the Houston Rockets. Again, it's different if it's like, I'm going to the Lakers to be a starter for $5 million, right? Or I could take $8 million and be the third center on Houston, right? Like, that's not, like, there's very difference. But it's like, if you're Clint Capella, it's like, okay, well, I can go to Houston, get the money, no state tax, no nothing, and be a backup in Houston. Or I could take less money, go to the Lakers, have state tax, and play the same role on the Lakers. It doesn't make any sense, right? So, of course, Clint Capella, as soon as Ayton became available, which is why I think Ayton's going to be a Laker. Again, I could be wrong. Been wrong before, it happens. But I think DeAndre Ayton's going to end up being a Laker, and I think everyone knows about it. I think it's the worst kept secret in basketball. I think that's why you saw all these other guys end up taking deals with other teams, because it's like, I might as well get the bag. Right? Like Brook Lopez. Do I want to take $9 million a year from the Clippers to come off the bench, or do I want to take a vet minimum from the Lakers to come off the bench? Right? Like, it's very different. So, anyway, as always, this is a discussion. Pass question you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me out, so we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one.